Welcome to D-ConneXion TV. My name is Donzale with D-ConneX LLC. And today we are going to be talking about the construction industry, specifically in the area of Nashville and surrounding counties. So I would like to, of course, welcome our guests, and I will let each of them introduce themselves.
Well, thanks for having us, Donzale. My name is Reggie Polk with Polk & Associates LLC. I'm the president and CEO of the company.
Awesome.
So we started our business back in 2011. However, I've been in the industry since 2003. So a wide array of construction experience. And we specialize in commercial construction, so interior renovations and ground up construction. And we service the commercial market as well as the federal market as well.
Oh, awesome.
Hi, I'm Tenora Polk with Polk & Associates. I am the VP of Operations, so basically I'm his mama. I do the whole back office, making sure that we're compliant and everything that he needs, I assist him in that.
Awesome.
Hey Donzale, my name is James Harper with Hensel Phelps Construction Company. We are a nationwide general contractor. We have offices across the United States. I am a manager of supply diversity for Hensel Phelps, so my responsibilities are to make sure we have small business participation, as well as local workforce participation, and that we're involved in the community.
Wow. Sounds like you kind of run the gamut there. So I love that we've got small business and we've got prime contractor, and everyone, of course, has to work together. So if you could just kind of expound a little bit about your business. I know you said you do commercial and also federal. Give us a picture of what does that look like? What types of services you typically offer? If you can give us any information on what is the day-to-day, like what does your job consist of?
Sure. So just a backdrop on the history of our company. I actually started in the commercial industry, and we perform framing and drywall.
Got it.
And so we did really, really well, and we've done a lot of jobs not only here locally in Nashville, but in the surrounding states. And as our business grew, we just enlarged our capacity, and we added more people, more talent, and that allowed us the opportunity to do more work. So now we're operating kind of both hats. We do some subcontracting work, but we have a lot of focus on the commercial opportunities, both public and private. So on the public sector, you know, we do a lot of networking and connecting with the federal government, a lot of different bases that are around locally, and we market to them. And then on the private side, we have a lot of referrals that we have in the market, and we also do a lot of teaming with other general contractors and trade partners as well.
Wow. Okay. So Tenora, I know you mentioned kind of being mom and a lot of the
Yes.
back office and kind of making sure things happen. So
Yes.
we always need someone like that on the team. So tell us just a little bit more about your day-to-day. So as you are kind of filtering through all of the things and kind of making decisions on the back lines, tell us, how do you do that?
Okay, well, when I come into the office, I do mainly a lot of QuickBook data entry, and I make sure that we're compliant, and I make sure that vendors that we work with are compliant, making sure that, you know, we have their insurance, and I'm calling accounts payable, accounts receivable, like, where's my money? Do I owe you money? Like, you're late, you know, making sure those things get handled. And also, I kind of feel like, even though I'm the back office, Reggie comes to me for a lot of advice as well. So we make a lot of decisions together, whether or not if we want to go after a job or not. Does it make sense? You know, will we have the cash flow if we win that job? Like, what does that look like? So I just help, you know, make decisions like that as well.
I will say, number one, I love that you all are a team, the dynamic duo going on here. And it's also good, again, for you to have somebody to bounce those ideas off of. And one of the things that I think for a lot of smaller businesses is, like you just said, making sure that it is the right fit for your company, and not just going after the glitz and glamour, but really making sure bottom line, does it make sense? So
It has to, because I mean, at one point in time, we were like nonprofit. And you know,
Exactly.
so after you're a nonprofit for a while, you're like, no, I'm in this business to make a profit. So yeah,
Absolutely.
So you kind of get your act together. We also stay educated. We go to classes to learn how we can grow, how can we get better, because you know we need that knowledge. I think a lot of small businesses fail because we don't know how to run that back office when it comes to accounting, and then as well we don't know how to do the day-to-day things, dealing with attorneys, dealing with billing, you know, just those simple things. Like, a lot of people can perform but they can't manage. And so we try to make that a big deal, like making sure that what we're doing is being managed wisely.
Exactly. I've
Yeah.
seen that a lot. So they're very skilled in what they do. If I lay bricks, you better believe it's going to be the best brick that can be laid. However, when I have to draft this contract, I really don't know what I'm doing, and so I'm just signing and not really reading, not really having attorneys look at it and things like that. So I definitely understand.
Yeah, and I think too, sometimes as a subcontractor, if you don't watch your contracts, you can have some GCs, I mean, I hate to say it, that are sharks in the industry.
Right.
So they don't care about you, and you're still going to have to fulfill your obligation.
James, with your company being one of those larger prime contractors that is nationwide, I guess give an idea of, number one, your day-to-day, and then also how do you feel like Hensel Phelps performs as far as trying to also look out for those small businesses too?
Yeah, because that's a good point that Nora made. There are a lot of general contractors out there that, the companies are so large and they have so many people with all these different roles and responsibilities.
Right.
There's a process and procedure for everything. And so with that kind of eliminates the human touch to it. There's a process in place. There's an email that you send and you hit send and you expect something to happen. So Hensel Phelps, we do about $6 billion annually revenue, and we're continuing to grow. So Nashville, my goodness, it's a great place to be. But even though we're large, we try to pay attention to the small businesses that we work with, or any new contractor for that fact. And you have to help people along the way. So we've changed our terminology from subcontractor to trade partner, because they're supposed to be your partner in this. You talked about making money. We're certainly going to make some money. We expect our trade partners to make money as well. So it's just things that you do just to develop that relationship, to have that open, honest communication with each other, and help them along to be successful. If they're successful, then we're successful. And so that's one of our mottos that we say all the time.
Awesome, awesome. Definitely appreciate any general contractors that are, of course, trying to grow and expand themselves, but then also paying attention to who's coming up, who can I make sure that I'm cultivating so that on the next big project, I've got somebody reliable and I know that I can use them.
That's right. And you have to also try to encourage that relationship to grow, and that open communication is really important. So it could be things like covering payroll. If pride is a real thing, so someone may not want to say, hey, I need some help to cover payroll. But if you have a relationship where you can actually have that conversation, then there are options. There's things that can be put in place to help whomever that contractor is cover payroll in the beginning of the job. So you don't have to go pay for some financial product to cover payroll.
Right.
Can I say, as a small business, to that point, early in the business, I was that guy that was shy to call and say, hey, are you going to cut the check this week? I quickly got over that, and I've learned, James mentioned trade partner, and that's such a valuable term because we are partners in the business, and a partner looks to work together to achieve a common goal, which is typically for the customer. And so as we're working together, we'll have those conversations up front before the job even starts, before we even sign the contract, to understand those terms. And once we understand the terms, we can operate our business better and with a greater understanding of how everything's going to operate.
Perfect. So I am curious. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. So who all is from Nashville? Anybody from Nashville?
I'm from Nashville.
Okay, and so where are you all from?
So originally from Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, okay, okay, awesome, awesome. Just trying to see, we have so many people that are moving here now. I know that you all have been here for a while, but of course we've had an influx over these last few years. So just wondering how much that plays a part in people being able to be successful here as they come from all over.
I'll tell you, Nashville is just such a great market. It's excellent for small businesses. There's great opportunity. The growth is tremendous, and so you just really have to find your place in the market, what's your niche, and where you're going to be successful.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
What I'll say to that is, so although I'm from Nashville, I'm still a statistic. The only reason I'm back is because of all the opportunities in Nashville. So, with all the growth and all the huge things happening at the airport, and you have a federal courthouse that only happens once every 20, 30, 40 years or whatnot, and all these different companies that are moving to Nashville, it's just creating so much opportunity. And so that's the only reason I'm actually back, is because the opportunity presented itself for my company to set up shop in Nashville, Tennessee.
Right, and where is Hensel Phelps out of?
So Hensel Phelps, our corporate office is in a little town called Greeley, Colorado. It's about an hour north of Denver. But we have our Orlando, Florida office, which is our Southeast District, that procured the work here in Nashville. But our staff have come from all over the place. Florida, D.C., Maryland, Colorado, Hawaii. We had folks come from everywhere to come. Everyone wanted to come to Nashville.
Awesome. So I'm also trying to see, as you look at the big picture and you start thinking forward, where do you see your company in maybe 2, 5, 10 years? Are there any long-term things that you just say, hey, as a company, I know we are going to succeed and we're going to be, this is what I envision for ourselves?
I'll tell you, that's a great question. So about a month ago, we did our 2020 strategic planning.
Great.
And we're always looking to grow forward, and we're looking at 2020 and what does that bring. And of course, you have to have a very strategic plan to accomplish those goals. So we lay that out. And so for our company, we're looking at growing our company 100%. In which more of a 2 to 3 year plan. So growing our company 100% within the next 2 to 3 years. And so after from years 3 to 7, we're going to start to tailor that back a little bit because we want to see what does that look like. We don't want to lose focus of our people. Our project managers, our staff, our back office, our trade partners. That's why we do what we do. So we want to grow, but we want them to grow as well, because if we grow and we leave them in the dust, we're by ourselves. So we want to make sure we grow at a comfortable pace, at a respectable pace, and we achieve the goals that we set forth. So for us, it's growing, doubling in size, and then scaling that off and seeing how that feels. And then at that point, we'll decide how much more will we like to grow.
I agree. I'm a big proponent of your team makes so much difference in not only your bottom line, but just a sense of you having value and making sure that you want to make sure that your people are taken care of. So I appreciate you going with a strategy that's going to make sure that you're able to cultivate them along the way. Number one, to be able to maximize all of the growth and all of the things that are happening, but at the same time, basically you're grooming them to come right behind you and be able to do those same things. So kudos.
Yeah, so even with the growth, that's one reason why we don't want to fly off too quick, is because we need our employees to grow with us. But another thing, we don't want to grow so quick and we're like, oh my goodness, we don't have the cash flow, or we don't have the line of credit to help us, or we don't have the manpower. And so we're kind of like just, taking baby steps. But we know we're going to achieve great things. And I don't know, this is not very, I don't know what you want to call it, but I can almost just envisioning where our company is going to be in a few years. I can just see it, like with just all the potential that's in Nashville. I can just see it, I can just feel it, and I think it's because we have a plan. Like, you write the vision, and then you just try to stick with it. And if we veer off to the left or to the right, I feel like our plan or our vision will help us stay on the course.
So one of the biggest things that we're focusing on right now is our foundation. And James can attest to this. They do huge projects, and one of the most important pieces of that project is the foundation.
Absolutely.
And when you have a solid foundation that's rightly rooted, that will allow you to grow. And your foundation will dictate how high you can grow and how wide you can grow. And so we're putting those pieces in place, number one, with our team, with our people, with our processes and our systems. We're putting those in place now, and that's going to dictate how much we can grow and withstand the cyclical industry that we're in.
Thank you.
Very interesting. There's a couple of things you said that are very similar to Hensel Phelps, by contrast being a larger company. You talked about that steady growth, and making sure you don't grow too fast. Those are the exact same things we're concerned about as well. We want that steady growth so we don't grow too fast. It's also ironic that Hensel Phelps, traditionally, we have a 1-year plan. We've never had a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. We only look 1 year out to kind of strategically, financially look at how we're growing. Just for that fact, to make sure we're not growing too fast. Something else you said, your people, growing your people. The question for us, where do we see ourselves in 2 to 3 years, 5 years? Hensel Phelps would love for this to be a district for us, a new district, our newest district. But in order to do that, you have to have the foundation of some work in place, have some good returns. But it's all about the people. You have to have the people who actually want to do work in this area and in this regional location. So Hensel Phelps in 5 years, I see us turning Nashville into the Mid-South District is what we would call it, and we would have some projects in Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, and we'd have people that want to go there, more people, and grow locally. There's so many schools in this area as well that we can recruit from and get new young talent to bring to the table. So we see ourselves making a permanent presence here. Our whole company, well, not the whole company, but everyone that's here in Nashville, like I said, we're a statistic. We've brought 80 people to Nashville with their spouses and their children, permanently moved here. We've purchased homes, we're here, and no one is planning on going anywhere.
Perfect. That is awesome. Definitely glad to have you, and you all have been doing a great job since you've been here. So really quickly, just give me a rundown. What even got you into the construction industry? There's so many things that are out there. Did you grow up from when you were small in school thinking I want to do construction, or how did that move? How did that happen?
Yeah, I really feel that construction chose me, and I couldn't get away. But just coming out of college, I actually majored in the concrete industry management program at MTSU.
Okay.
So a very specialized program, is gaining a tremendous amount of notoriety. And but all of my job opportunities were far out. They were in Nebraska, they were California.
I said no.
They were West Palm Beach, Florida. Just a lot of different locations, and I just really felt rooted here in Nashville, wanted to stay local. So there was actually a local home builder that found me, and we did a couple of interviews, and they quickly gave me a great opportunity to join their organization.
Great.
And so I actually came up in the residential side of new home construction, and I did that for about 12 years. And just grew up in that, was able to get my general contractor's license in that, got my real estate broker's license in that. And so that's actually my background of coming up through residential, and I transitioned into the commercial world.
Great. Okay. And how did that play a part?
Well,
what
you
did
know,
you think?
when he was in the residential side, I was the designer. So I would design the floor plans, pick out the colors, pick out the finishes. So that's kind of where we were. But even during that time, I could just see something bigger for us. And I remember telling Reggie, I was like, I can see you like having a company and running it, and you're doing X, Y, and Z, and you know, but it just wasn't that time. But in those 12 years, he was growing. Like, you know, like people, I think this generation now is kind of like, I want to do this and I want to do it like tomorrow. But I think those 12 years taught us a lot to get to where we're going now, and to, you know, for us to keep growing. And so when he went commercial, I was like, commercial, like what is that? You know, I was just so used to residential. And so I kind of took my hands off of it when he first got into commercial, because I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand like how it works. And he kind of like taught me everything I know basically. And then I've learned just from experience of being in the industry with him.
Good. Great. James, how did you wind up here?
Well, myself, let's see, when I was a kid, I was probably 7 or 8 years old, we were having a home built in northwest Nashville, and my dad would take me by the house as it was being constructed, and I was just completely fascinated by that. I was just completely fascinated. So I remember him throwing me up to the second floor. The stairs were not in yet, but he tossed me up there, and he climbed up there, and he's like, here's your room, here's your sister's room, and da-da-da. And I translated that to a career in architecture. I just had no idea that construction was an option. Just one of those myths of construction. And so I studied architecture engineering at Tennessee State and got my degree in that. And once I started looking for jobs with that bachelor's degree, it wasn't equating to the dollar signs that I thought I went to school for. But as I continued to go to different career fairs and seek opportunities, construction popped up. And I had some offers from some nationwide home builders and general contractors. And it was really a financial decision initially, and it turned out I loved it. But I had an option of building a bunch of the same houses or working at the Pentagon. And so it was an easy decision. It's not, oh, I'm going to D.C. to work on the Pentagon. And so I happened to get very lucky in choosing a very special general contractor, 100% employee owned. It's like a family, and so I got with the right company. Still with them, it's great.
Okay, thank you. So since we kind of alluded to it earlier, so we know that there's been amazing growth in Nashville and the surrounding areas here recently. How exactly has that impacted your business or impacted the things that you have to do on a day-to-day basis? So for instance, when you look to hire someone, how has this influx caused, you know, maybe a ripple? Does it have some challenges to it? Because I would think now any employee, they could kind of work at any company that they wanted to. So how has this growth affected you?
I would say, growth can be a double-edged sword. I mean, really, I mean, you look at your body as you grow, stuff starts to hurt a little bit until you figure out how to get it to stop hurting. But, I think growth is always a positive thing. It's about managing the growth.
Yes.
And so for us, with the growth of Nashville, you can easily get lost in the sea of all the fish. And so you have to really make sure that you understand and know who you are so that you can stay focused on your mission of your company. And what are you looking to achieve? What does your business plan say? Because there are so many distractions that come. And as more people come out, there's a lot of people that will show up and say, I'm qualified to do this, I've done this. You really have to look back at their record, understand who they are, and are they going to be a great team member, a great asset to your company? So, with the growth, you have to make sure that you stay true to your integrity and the values of your company that you set forth, because there's a lot of stuff that comes out and you have to look at it. You mentioned the day-to-day activities. Well, when I'm looking at jobs, there's so many opportunities in front of me. I have to look at and really be choosy. Is this the right one for our business? And there are some that we discuss, and I feel like it's the right one for the business, but other folks don't feel like it's the right opportunity. And so if we do have an agreement, if there's a yes and a no, then the answer is no. We have to have two yeses in order to move forward.
All right.
But I think also with the growth, you have to be cautious, because you can think, well, I need to hire someone really, really quick because we're growing. And then you get them on, and then they cost you more money and more headaches because you're just trying to find someone. And I think one thing with Nashville is we're running into a lot of people who, they say we're getting short on manpower. Like, you're running into a lot of people who don't really want to be in the construction industry. They want to be more into computers and technology and that thing. So even with the growth, it sometimes can be hard to find the manpower or people who actually know the business, or people who can be hands-on, in the office and on the field.
James?
A couple different perspectives. So, from one perspective, the growth in Nashville, as I alluded to earlier, that is what allowed my wife and I to move our family back to our hometown, and allowed us to potentially have a new district in Nashville. So it's great from that perspective. I always say that there's enough grass to cut for everybody, so there's plenty of opportunity in Nashville. But, piggybacking on what you said about being choosy, so that means something completely different to us. So we're a general contractor. We hire out subcontractors to do most of the work that we do. But then when you're trying to solicit those individuals, they have choices. They don't have to work on our project at all. So, they evaluate things, and us being the new kids in town, and you compare that to, oh, well, I've been knowing Joe Blow for 15 years, and he's a great client, great person to work with. I don't know if I'm going to spend my resources trying to pursue something with someone brand new. So it means a couple of different things, but all in all, it's been great, as far as the opportunity here in Nashville, growing our people, training our people, and sustaining ourselves here in Nashville.
All right, awesome. So do you all have any programs, or do you kind of work with any community partners related to workforce development or pipelines, partnerships? I'm just trying to think, how do you, when you have a prospective either project that you're going to take on, or say you have a position that's open, are you out there networking? Just tell me, what are some of the things, some of the initiatives that you all have going on?
I could tell you, for us, there are some trade companies here in Nashville, and there's a lot of people that maybe are less fortunate than others. And so, but they have the determination, the drive, and a lot of times the skill to perform. They just haven't had the right opportunity. And so our company, we look to partner with those other companies and grab those individuals that have the skill sets and say, hey, maybe you weren't as fortunate as we were, but now we're going to give you that opportunity to grow and to shine. So we'll actually look at bringing those folks in for a certain position, and we'll say, hey, let's see how this works out and how this grows. A lot of times that'll be out in the field with our guys and our project managers out in the field. And guys like to work with their hands, so we'll get them out there and we'll have them doing a specific task. And as that grows and matures, then we'll give them more responsibility to grow from there.
Just kind of curious, so how do you, as a business owner, when you say, if you give someone that opportunity and you're trying to allow them to make their career path and work their way up, Are you flexible in trying to work with them as much as possible? What I've noticed is sometimes those individuals may lack the soft skills or not quite understand, hey, we need you here, we need you to be doing this, we need not just a want, this is what needs to happen. So maybe taking the time to not just, give them the axe the first time, but you give them a chance to really work with them to make sure that they're clear, hey, here's the standard that you now are being held to.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So up front, we talk about expectations. But the thing about expectations is not a one-way street. So I'll ask them, hey, what are your expectations of me? As a president CEO, what are your expectations? What are your goals? And so I listen to that, and I make sure that that lines up with what I expect to give out to my team members. And so we'll have a great even exchange. I'll ask them what are their goals. I'll sit with my team members every year and say, okay, new year, what are your goals this year? How can I help you achieve and reach your goals? Soft skills, if I see that someone in the field or someone in the office needs development in an area, then we'll sit down, we do regular employee evaluations, and I'll talk about, hey, here's the area where I want to see you grow. And I'll talk about how they can grow, how I can help them grow, and how that growth is going to help them, number one, reach their goals or be better at what they do or at their craft. So I always try to put the emphasis back on them growing and how those soft skills are going to help them grow.
Well, really quick, I do want to make sure that I give each of you an opportunity that if you have any upcoming things that are going on, any information that you want to share about your company or things that you would like for people to know, I want to make sure that we go through and I give you the chance to do that. So can we start with James? Are there any things that are going on?
Yeah, so right off the bat, the end of February, Hensel Phelps will be launching our own workforce training program. So similar to some of the things you said there, you have to make sure your program has some soft skills training in it, some basic construction readiness training, and then we are tying them directly to the airport project that we're working on and some of our large contractors to commit to hire these individuals. So we're wanting to start with somewhere between 10 to 15 individuals, so we're very excited about that program. The only other thing I'll mention on the small business side is later in the year, we'll have 2 bid packages coming out for any construction trade you can think of at the airport.
Okay.
So there'll be further information later about that, but later in 2020, we'll have all kinds of opportunities for small businesses.
Wonderful.
And so for us, we're excited about 2020. And so we mentioned earlier about the growth. We will need 2 more project managers. We'll need another superintendent, and we're going to need another administrator for the office. And so with that growth, we're always looking for talented individuals. And I love to look locally. We always want to promote from within. I look at my team and say, who is going to be a great fit for this position? And then we also want to look back at the institutions that are around us. We have some great universities here, TSU, Fisk, and MTSU, Belmont, all of these great engineering schools that are here, TTU. So we want to look back and look for young talent that is just excited about learning and getting into the industry and learning.
Well, thank you. I definitely want to thank you all again for coming on D-ConneXion TV, and we will catch up with you next time.